Alright, so in the previous class, we learned about the two types of WordPress that we have. We have the managed version and the open source version. So, for the purpose of this training, we will be making use of the open source version, which gives us the ability to have full control of WordPress, and always we can always use it the way we want for our own knowledge. So in this class, we'll be looking at setting up a WordPress, where we'll be talking about hosting services and domain services. So here, as you can see on my screen, I have a very simple diagram that explains um, what hosting service is all about, the domain services, and how it concerns the people that are sending traffic or accessing your website. So here, as you can see, I have here the domain service as it has been highlighted on the screen, domain, which is you. So domain, for example, we have google.com, facebook.com. That is what domain is all about. So that's why I said here, domain you, which is the web address that you are using. This is what people knows you as on the digital space. That is basically what domain is all about. So here we have the word. This is every other person with a mobile phone or a desktop computer trying to access your website. Basically, what they do is they enter your web address, let's say google.com. They send different traffic, as you can see here, send different traffic to your domain. Then your domain send request to your hosting service. Now, with my little note here, it says an hosting service is a virtual space in the cloud where all your website files, for example, media, your code base, assets, etc., are being stored and made available to the general public to access. It can also be private to restrict access. So, in essence, an hosting service here is like take hosting as an apartment that you rent that you want to put all your belongings, your properties. So same applies for hosting. The difference is that your apartments you can see them, but your hosting you can't see them. But they are basically like a space online that you can manage all your website access and resources. So it can be public, it can be private, depending on you. Um, it is not free. You pay for it. You subscribe for it online. We have a couple of different companies online that sells hosting services, likewise domain services. So you can search online and opt in for the one that suits your budget or whatever you are working on. So, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll be looking at what hosting is all about. So, in our previous class where we explained the managed version of WordPress and the the open source version of WordPress, which is the WordPress.org. Remember in our previous video, we went through the WordPress.org and we saw the page where you can download your um, the WordPress source code. So after you download the WordPress source code, you are basically uploading it inside a web hosting like this. You are uploading to your web hosting, which allows users from the public to send traffic to your domain. Then your domain connects to your hosting service. Then give a response back, as you can see here, give a response back to your users. Either they want to see the home page, the about page, the contact us page, depending on what the word is requesting for from your services. So that is just basically the simple setup of WordPress. If you are going to be using a WordPress.org, we are going to see the practical class of this, setting it up. This is just like a brief explanation of how it works. So when you download your source code, you upload it to your hosting services. Before then, you will have bought the domain, bought the hosting service, then then upload your source code into your hosting services. and people can start to send traffic to your website to view whichever information you have to offer to them. So that's just a simple setup, the simple procedure is setting up a WordPress service.